Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Chinny of Let's Start. It's your first time here with me. Thank you so much for being here. And if you already subscribed to my channel, you're awesome. Truly welcome. All right. I hope you guys love what I'm wearing. This is a taffeta bobo Nigerian style. Okay, so why are we here today? All right, today something caught my eye last week. Apparently there was a secret peace talks between Harry and Meghan and the royal family. Now, I have been wanting to do this video, and I have said I've been in a funk, and I'm just trying to get out of it. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be a good way to actually introduce this topic, and delve into the whole thing. Now, so sometime in May, Harry did a BBC interview, right? And in that BBC interview, I just want to talk about the things he talked about. He talked about the fact that he was being denied security by his family. He also said that the Queen told him, Harry, that he had a right to protection. And so Harry also thought that his family would keep him safe, in the course of his abdication. And that the royal family, were telling governments all around the world not to protect them, wherever they were. He also talked about wanting to reconcile with his father and see his father, knowing his father is sick. He also said that the royal family, that he doesn't think he'll be able to get his kids and his wife Meghan to ever see his home country. Right. So I've listened to a couple of videos online, and I actually, when I talked about the last video concerning Meghan and her show and all the craziness that the internet went with that, I also was very clear. I said I am not here to hold anybody's hand or say the royal family is right. That's not my point of interest, or maybe Harry is wrong or whatever. Mine is just to talk about what's good, what's bad, and what could be done. That's it. I'm not on anybody's side here, because we have a proverb that says, as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. So I'm going to start with the genesis of this all. We were all in lockdown when Harry woke up in the early hours of the morning and decided that it was time for him and his wife to quit the royal family. Now, in the wake of all of that, we all woke up to that. That was the news. Was breaking news all over the world. I mean, this was during COVID. And, like every one of us, content has arrived. What many of us were asking for invariably was, what's the gist? You see, let's not pretend. We all wanted to know the 411, knowing fully well that the royal family is very secretive, knowing fully well that they keep things under wraps. Everyone gunned for Harry to spill the tea. Remember that Harry is not just anybody. Harry is next in line to the throne. That is, if anything happens to William's kids, he's next. So it's not like Harry is like fourth, fifth, 100th. He's not like the 100th to the throne. No, Harry is like a direct descendant. Even if four people removed to the throne, he is in the inner caucus. And so what happened next was Oprah got on the bandwagon, Netflix got on the bandwagon, publishing houses got on the bandwagon. Everybody wanted a scoop. Let me repeat, as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. Now, In the wake of all of this, let us also remember that the Queen was also going through her own, ill health at the time. She was frail. I mean, she's old, right? And she gave Harry and Meghan a year. And I think that's a lot of generosity, compared to how royal family affairs happen. So she gave them a year to change their minds. That Harry had a year to change his mind. And if they wanted, they were also given the opportunity to okay, why don't you stay in England as non-working royals? They could have had that. And also, in the space of that 1 year, Harry, if you all recall, Harry was always coming, he was always trying to go to see the Queen, all the time. Remember, he was her chushushu, Harry was the baby of the family, he was her shushu. I actually did a video on this at the time. And, he precipitated and they left. Now they went to Canada, from Canada to Australia. They were just, and apparently it was about, trying to settle down, where could they stay and all that. Now, in the course of all this, Harry has had his battles. He has released a book. His wife had a podcast, had this, had that. A lot of things were happening at the time. But I think we all agree that one of the most damning events was that interview with Oprah. That interview with Oprah did not go down well. And so, most times when I hear Harry speak, I hear somebody who has not taken accountability for what he may have done wrong. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing someone who is not ready to take accountability for anything, believing that he did it all. He did it right. And he's allowed, right? But you see, the problem is when you come, anything. Anyway, so, it's also is quite, it says, I hear, when Harry speaks, right, I hear a lot of I, and a lot of I should have, I am supposed to, this is why. And again, he won his court case against the son. He did something fantastic there. I'm coming to his father because I can't wait for live. So he did something good there, So I want to go back because, again, like I keep saying, why I don't really go ham on all the defense, because I hear people talk about it and I'm like, listen, maybe we are all missing the point here, and there are so many things that would say, okay, but then he has a right to this. There are so many things. But the thing about it is that when Harry decided that he was leaving, he was informed. He was informed that he was going to lose his security. He was informed that he was going to have to pay back for the cottage that they paid for. He was informed. And I think maybe one of the things that we're missing here is that a lot of us are not aware. I don't know. And I because I'm one of those people that, I always ask myself, where does the funding for the royal family come from? Right? The royal family funding comes from UK taxpayers. Right? So, this is an institution that is built to run like a firm. That's what it's called. It's a firm, And so, it's taxpayers' money, and as taxpayers, they are held as the royal family, they are held accountable for taxpayers. We are all aware that even the queen, was very frugal. We all know that she was very frugal. And you see, there is something about because you're royalty, you want to live extravagantly and lavishly. And then because you're royalty, you understand that living lavishly will not bode well for you and the population. Make it make sense. If you're wondering about what happened or what caused the French Revolution, that was basically it. The people were poor. Farmers were not making anything. They were farming and everything. There was no food and it was going to the king, right? And at a point, the people came and they were hungry, but the king was having lavish dinners and there was hunger in the land. And so the revolution took place and then boom, off with his head. He was gone. That was it. So, and this is a woman who has fought the war. She fought 2 wars and she was there. She knows about the French history exceptionally well, knowing how King Henry died. I think it was Henry. I think it was King Henry, if I'm not wrong. No, it wasn't King Henry. Xavier, I think. How he died. He was guillotined. That was it. And that was the end of royalty and royal, BS in France till date. As you all know, France is the only institution that does not run a monarchy. Every other country still every other European nation runs a monarchy. France does not. In the West, anyway. So, when you see all these things now, you now begin to juxtapose what Harry's demands are. So I want to start from the beginning. He talks about Ravek. And saying that Ravek was not constrained by the law. He also said that he also talked about his family, thought that his family would keep him safe. So again, I see this as 2 things. I see this as a cry for help, and I see it also as a need for reconciliation. A cry for help in the sense that while they are making money, while he's winning all these amazing court cases and they're getting all these Netflix deals and podcast and Spotify deals, the money is going principally to security. He's paying for his security because of his status as a royalty, as a royal, right? Harry, like I said, he's not a 100-generation royal. Harry is like close to home, right? And so this is his worry. And it is valid. I'm not going to invalidate his worry. But then the thing about this is, dude, if the royal family, if you demand for security from the royal family, it is the UK citizens that are going to be paying for it. Each time when you were a working royal and you traveled, it was the UK security, it was UK taxpayers that footed that bill. When you were at war in Afghanistan and all, it was the UK Security Council through taxpayers' money that paid for that, for your protection. When William was in Ukraine, it was UK taxpayers' money that paid for that. So yes, you may have fought the war. Yes, you may have done all of these things. But the bottom line is the privileges that you enjoyed at the time was thanks to the UK Security Council, funded by UK taxpayers. No other military personnel was going to have that. And maybe, Harry, you are also forgetting that by virtue of the fact that you are royalty, you are just royalty. You've never worked a day in your life. I don't know, maybe you're missing that point. You haven't worked a day in your life, whether you did 10 tours, whatever. You know, in France, we say on cotise, tu vois, quand on travaille, on cotise. Parce que quand on cotise l'argent, Et quand on est soit le moment qu'on est on est en arrêt maladie ou bien en chômage, c'est notre cotisation qui nous paye, en fait. So it's like when you work, you're saving money. And then by saving that money, right, when you are on sick leave or whatever, those benefits are paid to you. So that's the thing. You have so many advantages by being a prince. But as many advantages as you have exist as long as you remain in the UK. Those advantages do not translate to you when you abdicate, when you say you are no longer interested in being this person. Remember, Harry, that there were talks about removing your title, but they knew that they could not touch your title because however it happens, you are a prince. But for them, your wife was married into the family, so they really have no problem withdrawing that. And you have to understand that most of this anger is because they believe that you found a wife who took you away from them. And this is a double-edged sword. You found a wife for them. I don't know the dynamics between both of you, but you found a wife that took you away from your home country, from your own people, from the people that saw you grow. They watched you from that little baby become the man that you are. So the UK is also hurting as well as you. Again, it's a double-edged sword, right? And when we look at this, you also realize that so many times you tried to see your grandma, you were refused. And Harry, you knew why you wanted to see your grandma. You knew it was because of the security detail that you wanted to see your grandma. You needed to see her because of that. And they knew. They were onto your game fast. And so you were deprived that opportunity. Because she promised you and she told you had a right to protection. It would have been amazing if she had put that in writing. But she did not. Because the queen needed to clear her desk before her death. She needed to clean her slate, put all the things that were outstanding that needed to be done, had to be done. And Harry, remember, the moment you decided to come out that day, very early in the morning, with that press conference about leaving the royal family, the Queen Mother said that she told you to wait. It reminds me of your mom because something similar happened. You were told, she specifically asked you to wait. So, Harry, maybe, and I think you should think about this, maybe you precipitated out. You were so impatient to leave. For whatever reason, you were that impatient to leave. I mean, who is going to hold you to task for that? You talked about your wife's mental health and a lot of things. And it's understandable. But at a point, have you asked yourself, maybe I was in a hurry? I was so much in a hurry. Maybe I should have held on a little bit more until grandma and I finessed this exit plan of mine. Because I'm also hearing over the grapevine that you were offered a couple of jobs in the colonies in Canada and Australia. So, there was actually, if that's true, there was actually, something that they wanted you to hold on to while you may not be here, but something to guarantee that you still got your benefits while out of commission. Right? Um, and again, one thing that strikes me, and it doesn't strike me in a surprising way or in a manner that is shocking, no, is the quiet, it's the way that the royal family have constantly kept quiet in all of this. They have been very quiet, and that in itself is dangerous. When the person you are throwing daggers at is not responding, remember, they have the power. Sometimes, David and Goliath is not exactly, doesn't always play out the way it plays out in it played out in the Bible. The royal institution has existed way before your birth, and everything that has happened and is happening have been detailed, carried out, played so many times. And that is why the lessons of your mom, Princess Diana, ensure that you, the kids, did not marry the same way your father married. And I know, Harry, that you have a lot of resentment towards, the woman your father married. I know. But you see, now I'm going to come to Prince Charles. Prince Charles, you have cared more from the time you were a bachelor till now. You have cared more about what makes you happy than anybody else. You have cared more about everything that happens around you, surrounds you, with you, as long as it is to your satisfaction, than anything else. Your wife, Princess Diana, may her soul rest in peace, was in turmoil and pain. You did not care. All you wanted was what you wanted. You were going on with your extramarital affairs like nothing happened. There was no sentiment, no feeling, nothing towards this young girl that you plucked from her home, who served the perfect purpose to birth you heirs. It is so clear that it is all about what Charles wants, likes, needs. It has nothing to do with every other thing outside of that realm. It's still shocking to me that Camilla is with you as queen consort. I have no understanding of what that means. Because of Camilla, today, side chicks have hope. Or rather, Diana was the side chick, but she did not know. Because of Camilla, side chicks have told themselves that they can get the best end of the stick. And I do not have any understanding how she could have been recognized that much. And here is your son, who has only asked of one thing from you: love me, see me, hear me, understand me, speak to me, listen to me. That is all he has ever asked for. And so it is quite painful to see that despite the fact that the whole world heard that you're going through cancer, right? Your son had to hear it just like everybody else. Was there a point when you decided, okay, I need to call my kids together? This is what needs to happen. For once, throw this rift aside. For once, I know there are a lot of things that could be informing your decision based on how Harry and Meghan handled their exit. I know. But this time around, for once, don't give an F and just get your kids, your grandkids, and share this news with them first and say, listen, this is me now. And for whatever reason, you could have actually, do you know, Prince Charles, you could have actually told Harry, why don't you guys come to the UK for this period of time that I am going through this ordeal? For my family to be around me, why don't, you all be here? And let's do this together. Harry, forget about any other thing. I am here for you. We're here for each other for once. Because I don't think or believe that Harry was going to use that to sell stories or no. Because this will now be about his father and being there for his father. But no, you did not. You didn't do that. And, it's very touching and painful when family rifts happen, because the emotional baggage, it's heavy. You have palpitations, you're not okay, you're worried, you are sad, because for you feel that a part of you is missing. And it's true. A part of you is missing, because this is not the family dynamics that you grew up with. What you just want is that beautiful, loving relationship. That's all. That's all you're looking for at that time, to be there. That's it. And so my scarf is messing up at this time. So unfortunately, like I said, and I cannot, I don't know, I've not been able to again, since knowing fully well how Prince Charles was, where Diana was concerned, and the whole tale of their marriage, I have ceased to see him as someone who is to be taken seriously. I'm serious. I cease to see him as someone who's to be taken seriously. I'm going to say this to William. And why I'm saying this is because I've only heard Harry's side. So I don't know what is happening behind the scenes. We don't know. William, you're the elder brother, and Harry is your only brother and only family. You may be married, but that is your blood. And so I do hope that from time to time, you pick up the phone and call your brother and know how he's doing. Speak to the kids, your niece and your nephew, and know how they're faring. I did a video about this, and I actually put it in my, in my stories on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And I said how sad was it that these kids had their birthday and there was no family, just Meghan, Harry, and Meghan's mom. How empty that birthday would seem. But that's what they had, and that was what they were doing with. So, dear William, I do hope that you do call your brother, you speak to him, you talk, and you find out how they are faring. It's important. There is nothing that all of this animosity, there's nothing it breeds, there is nothing it brings. It's just animosity. Harry, I would love for you to take accountability. I would love for you to take accountability as much as possible. Sit down with yourself. Ask yourself, what could I have done differently in this situation? And work towards repairing these um you know this rift. Work towards it. Okay, I would not going on BBC. I don't think is. You see, that's the thing, because when you do these things, they now pull back. Going on BBC, was it the right move to talk about all of this? Was it the right thing to do? You are allowed to go to the UK. You can go to the UK. You get security once you land in the UK. So that's a given. You have no problem with that. But when you now have to, at each point, do anything and then go to the news, you are only confirming everything that they always fear and have feared, that you are, it's all about the Benjamins for you, and the pounds and the dollars and the pound sterling. So I think it's time for you to start trying to re-strategize and change the approach to this. And so, which brings us back to the story. And again, unfortunately, it leaked. So, secret Harry Peace Summit takes place in step towards royal reconciliation. So they heard you, right? The UK's King Charles and Prince Harry's senior aides have held a secret peace summit, the Mail on Sunday has revealed. The move marks the first significant step to resolving their infamous family feud. Sources told the Mail on Sunday that last week's meeting was the first step in a rapprochement process. There are now hopes that the shattered relationship between the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and the rest of the royal family may be restored. The talks were held at a London private members club that champions international friendship and whose patron is Charles. It is not known whether it was Charles or Harry who extended the olive branch, but insiders said that the summit was a strong statement of intent from both sides to resolve the bitter feud. There's a long road ahead, but a channel of communication is now open for the first time in years. A source told the Mail. There was no formal agenda, just casual drinks. There were things both sides wanted to talk about. Harry was represented by Meredith Maines, his chief communications officer, and head of his household in Montecito, California, who flew in from Los Angeles. She met with Tobin Andrea, Charles's communications secretary at the Royal Overseas League, a 3-minute walk from Clarence House, his London residence. Also present was Liam Maguire, who runs the Sussex PR team in the UK. It was Miss Maines who organized Harry's BBC interview in May, in which he said he would love a reconciliation with the royal family. In the same interview, Harry claimed that Charles wouldn't speak to him because of the security stuff, referring to the removal of his automatic police security detail in the United Kingdom. Neither Buckingham Palace nor the Sussex representatives would comment on the meeting. So, we see that, well, there is a step towards that. And we pray, fingers crossed, that it's a success, because enough. We're tired of the drama. The theatrics, you should know that you are looking at it, it's okay. If you want to do something for and with your family, Harry, go on and do it. Forget the media. Just get in touch with them how you can. If you have to travel back to the UK for that, do it. But get the media and all the journalists out of it. And that's my 2 cents on this topic. I'll see you guys in my next video. If you're here, you're able to listen, and you're here up until now, please do not fail to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye.